The biggest spenders in the window, Chelsea Football Club. By the 11 o'clock deadline, their spending was close to £300 million. Here's the manager on why they needed to splash the cash.
We can discuss endlessly if we overspend or it's too much money for the players, but the players that we got are very, very good players and very good personalities. So everything was needed, desperately needed, to rebuild the group and to inspire the group. And I think we did excellent signings. We can now, of course, it does not help if we talk about the price too much, because we'll always find people, and yeah, it's maybe hard to argue, who say this is way too much money. Okay, but this is how the market was for us.
Carvo, we mustn't forget they're owned by a private equity company, which means did they have to speculate to accumulate, because it's all about making money in the end?
Yeah, look, I mean, their sort of business model has changed under the new owners. People forget that in the transfer market, actually, Chelsea used to make a lot of money from selling players as well as spending a lot of money on players. And of course, they had 2 transfer windows when they had a FIFA ban, when they weren't allowed to sign any players at all. And Frank Lampard brought through a lot of young players. So they have spent a lot of money. I think it's a record, somewhere around £250 million. But Thomas Tuchel felt that that's what he needed. And he's right in saying, you know, the majority of these players that he signed are very experienced Premier League players, very highly regarded players. They've also signed some young players for the future. They've spent like 30, 40, 50 million pounds on 3 or 4 young players that they think are going to have a big future in the game as well. The only issue, I think, as far as Chelsea supporters are concerned, is that central midfield. We keep talking about it. A lot of Chelsea supporters not happy with the midfield at the moment. They're not convinced by Jorginho, maybe. Is N'Golo Kante as good as he used to be? He's getting a lot of injuries, and both of them out of contract in the summer. So I think they've got a short-term solution in Denis Zakaria from Juventus. But I think next summer, that's something they're going to have to look at again.
Will Zakaria fill that hole?
I don't think they needed a midfielder in terms of. I think Conor Gallagher is good enough. I certainly do. I watched him a lot at Crystal Palace, albeit it's a different club, different pressures that go with it. And I know he picked up a stupid sending off, let's say, but I think he's definitely good enough to play in that team. Looking like with Zakaria coming in, is he going to be given his opportunities? So it's down to Conor Gallagher himself in training, how he shows Thomas Tuchel. Can he play in this team? Does he want it enough? Looked like he may have got a move towards the end of the window, but he's still there. So he needs to fight now, because, like I said, I've watched him many times. He is definitely good enough to play in a top 4 side at least. And I'm looking forward to him trying to break into the midfield. And now, like we said, Denis Zakaria has come in. It's more competition for him to try and break in.
He's got 3 months, hasn't he, to get into the England squad?
Absolutely. That's huge for everyone. That's huge for every nationality as well. The World Cup's coming up. Everyone wants to be playing. That's why we've seen moves happen this window that's probably potentially a bit unusual, but it's because the World Cup's coming up. And Conor Gallagher, if he can perform for Chelsea the way I've seen him play at Crystal Palace, there's no reason why he wouldn't be on the plane to the World Cup.
Thomas Tuchel said they were desperate. Were they really desperate to bring all these players in?
Yes, I think they were. I do. If you want to compete with Manchester City, with Liverpool, you have to sign quality players. And that's what they've done. They've seemed to have signed some of the best players in the Premier League last season. I think they've overpaid for some. Let's be honest. Cucurella, I think they overpaid for him. Wes Fofana potentially overpaid. Look, he's young. He's got a lot of potential. But he played, 2 games last season because of his injury, 7 the year before. It's a big injury to come back from. So, again, Carve said that they're buying potential there in terms of Fofana. He'll go straight into the team, and I've no doubt, hearing other people talk about him, that he's a fantastic player. But they're paying an awful lot of money. But I think they needed it to strengthen their squad, to try and catch the gap between Manchester City and Liverpool.
I think if Fofana was in Liga, if Cucurella was in La Liga, you wouldn't be talking anywhere near these kind of fees that Chelsea would have had to have paid. Big premium when you're dealing Premier League club to Premier League club. And when you've got the likes of Brighton and Leicester selling to Chelsea, they feel that they can add 10, 15 million onto the price.
And also they needed to bring players in. We forgot to mention Lukaku leaving, Timo Werner leaving as well. So
Rudiger.
Rudiger as well, going on a free. So it wasn't just a case of going out and throwing money and buying any players that you could.